Hallo, hier ist Maria Hubmer-Mogg und heute wieder mit einem Crowd Resilience TV Interview. Ich freue mich riesig, dass ich heute die Möglichkeit habe, meinen lieben Freund und Kollegen, den amerikanischen Mediziner Dr. Pierre Kory, zu interviewen. Pierre, it's good to see you
Nice
again.
to see you. Good to see you, Maria. Yeah.
Cool that we're here in
yeah.
Sweden together for this amazing conference.
Every time I enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. So today I really enjoyed listening to your lecture that you gave at the conference. And I was listening to you, and Richard Urso and Pierre Kory was sitting with me, and I think they are brothers from different mothers to you,
Yeah,
right?
Ryan and Richard.
Yeah. And so, you know, we really enjoyed also the style that you did your lecture. It was like everybody would stay awake. Everybody would be like, whoa, what's next? And I really appreciate how you spread the word, you know. And I think that's important for the movement. And it's good that we have our, evidence out there, and people can, look the work you're doing up on the FLCCC webpage, for example, or watch lectures or other interviews that you did on your field of expertise on Rumble or wherever you have not been censored. But for me, it's very important in the interviews I do to see, the Pierre behind the Pierre, Kory, that we know from lectures, from interviews. And so the question that I always ask my interview partners is, what makes you resilient in your life?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm resilient because I keep showing up despite a lot of adversity. I guess there's a few thoughts that come to mind. I've noticed this in my entire career as a doctor, and even the work I did before then, I always questioned why we were doing things the way we were doing. And I always felt there was a better way of doing it, and I was always trying to change things. I mean, I saw the people would do things the same way for decades, and there were clearly improvements you could make. And so I was always pushing for change because I didn't like things that the way they were done when they could be done better. So that's sort of a general thing that's really marked my career. And I know that everyone at the hospital always saw me pushing to do this thing new or that. And so that's one. The second is I long ago committed to becoming an educator. And so I really like to teach. And, I won big awards for teaching at a number of medical centers. And, in COVID, I was given sort of a public platform. When that testimony went viral, a lot of people wanted to hear more. Yes. And that's what I do. And so for me, I like teach. It's not only that I like teaching, but I think it's really important. I also think we're responsible to teach. And so really, I would say my resilience is I don't really have a choice, because there's a moral and ethical obligation to not only tell the truth, but what is that Orwell phrase, right? In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. And I'm not interested in becoming a revolutionary, but we are in a time of universal deceit. And so, and I don't want to be so grandiose by calling myself a truth teller, but I don't have conflicts of interest. I call it like I see it. I really carefully analyze data, and I try to share it. And that's part of teaching, that's part of telling the truth. And I can't think of a time when it's been more critically needed than now. And so, I mean, when I'm asked to do anything, to go anywhere, to speak, to interview, to do a podcast, I say yes. It's not because I want to be famous, or it's not out of an ego thing. It's because saying no actually doesn't feel right. It actually, every time, and I have said no because too busy, too tired. Sometimes the audience isn't big enough and I'm too tired. And so, but I'll tell you, every time I've said no, it hasn't sat well with me. I always felt like, I probably should have done that. And, so, I just, it's so clear the path forward, which is you got to just keep going. You got to keep going. So there's not really a choice. There's no quitting. There's no stopping until we win this thing. And I don't even know that as a win, but it is a war. And so we got to keep fighting. The alternatives are just too terrible to contemplate.
Right. So I actually, thanks to the Highwire, which I knew before the pandemic, I saw your testimony in December. I think it was even 6th of December, 2020. Yeah. And I saw you and I was like, hello, there's therapy out there, obviously, and, we need to spread the word. So there were like 7 people, 6 doctors, including myself, and 1 nurse signing a letter that we then wrote because we were inspired, and we then did our research about ivermectin, and it was like 7th of April. We put out an open letter to the chancellor, to the health minister at that time, another one that is now, and to the president and to media people. Of course, we got zero, nada, niente response. Yeah. But still, I'm so happy that we did that time, and already referring to what you guys showed us. So I'm thankful that I heard about what you guys are doing, and also thankful for networks like the Highwire, and I can only say, you became I posted something in my Telegram channel today, and I said, this is my personal ivermectin hero, Dr. Pierre Kory, and I really saw the comments, and people appreciate your work. And so thank you from my side and from so many people around the world. And it is true, early treatment could have saved so many more lives. And that's like why we really keep going and need to do that. As you say, it's like a calling. You can't do, if you don't do it, you don't feel well, right?
But what you just said, you're right. I should have said that before. Lives are at stake.
Yes.
They're literally at stake. And, it seems like people are dying again, from COVID, meaning, with Omicron, the death rates were really low. I don't think they were dying purely of COVID, but now the numbers are up, and it's even more critical now. We have to get that message out because people are going to die unnecessarily.
And as Geert Vandenbosch mentioned, especially in Austria in December when he was there for our resilience tour, he said, so especially the vaccinated population, they should really have antivirals at home. It's like really a shout out because let's see, So, and now again, something that I want to know from you. So, I think it's important that we keep our amusement level high.
Yeah.
So to be really strong and empowered and motivated for what we're doing. Regarding music, what is like music that you like to listen to?
So I'm pretty standard. I am really a Grateful Dead. I'm what they call a deadhead. I love the Grateful Dead. Still listen to them.
Cool.
And then I really enjoy what I call singer-songwriters. I just like music on a guitar. And,
cool.
Simple, acoustic, and there's just great singer-songwriters out there that I've followed over the years, and so
like Brad 5 Times August, of course.
5 Times August is my latest favorite, of course. He's on the top of the heap, but Amos Lee I've really enjoyed, and Damien. Now I can't even remember his name. I really enjoy him, Damien, and then Ray LaMontagne. Lots of different musicians like that. But
that's cool.
Grateful Dead was my first love.
Yeah, that's fine. So, and one last question: what do you do like on a day off? Like you sometimes we need to recharge. Is it like you can put your phone to the side totally, or do you look still like every hour, or is it also nice to sometimes scroll through your messages or emails, or would you even do that on that times you say I need a rest, or is it like something you go swimming, hiking, whatever, or is there no time for that right now?
I wish you hadn't asked that question. To be honest, Maria, it's a problem. I don't really, the pace and dynamic of life in COVID, especially in the FLCCC, it's always been a 7-day-a-week job. Stuff happens every day. I have a private practice where I see patients, and so now it's just there's work all the time. I do try to relax with my children, go out to dinner with the family, take the dogs on a walk, things like that. And but that's something that needs to change. Like I would like life to get back to a more normal rhythm and pattern. It's not good to be dealing with phone calls and emails and issues all the time. We all need to take a break, and I don't think I've taken care of myself very well in that manner. And but it goes back to your original question, right? Is that it's hard to say no, right? And every day there's calls to me from patient issues to friends and colleagues who need me to take care of them medically, to all sorts of interviews, podcasts, things I have to write. I wrote a book, and hopefully that's going to be done very soon. And so I really took on a lot, but I'm hoping after the book and once the whole world learns the truth about ivermectin, I can... Yeah, you can just
take a long nap and just dance and, go swimming, whatever.
That's
so, thing is, again, I want to say thank you for all the work that you're doing, and I know that you're treating lots of vaccine injured, and big shout out to them that they speak up, that they have their platforms where they invite others to join them. And I know you're in this fight, and so I think if you probably find a ritual like I have myself, where you are not taking a nap, not sleeping, but having your 15 minutes without a phone and getting your parasympathicus activity higher, that's probably helpful because it helps me a lot, or
no question,
eating healthy food and stuff. So I think that's important because, we need to look after ourselves. So thank you so much again. Thanks for the interview, and looking forward to seeing you again and again and again.
Thank you, Maria. Always great to see you.
Great.
Definitely.
Okay.